Welcome to the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33 WHPR, Comcast 90 right now. And I'm happy to welcome Oakland County to the mix. I'm very excited about that because I have a lot of friends who say, we can't see you, but you can always see us courtesy of the World Wide Web and on the app on your phone. You can see us at www.tv33whpr.com, and then you could pull up the TV33 app on your phone so you can watch us on your telephone. Tell me, isn't the world supersonic? If you'd like to call in this morning, you could call us at 313-868-0342, 868-0351, and 868-4336. The first part of my show, I'm very happy to have State Senator Vince Gregory. And then the second part, everybody, I'm very excited about this also. We will have a call in from Lucille O'Neill, Shaquille O'Neal's mom, and she'll be talking about the Inspirational Moms competition that the Boys and Girls Club plus her, they held. So let's, without further ado, State Senator Vince Gregory. Good morning.
Good morning, Brenda. It is good to be here.
It is. It's really great to see you. It's been a while and everything, and it's been tumultuous in the state of Michigan.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Especially right now, we're going through the budget process, and so there's a lot of issues that we're trying to resolve right now, and it's really busy. This is probably the busiest time of the year right now.
Well, we're going to talk about those issues in just a moment. I first want to the audience to familiarize themselves with you. And where are you from originally?
Actually, I was born in Detroit, but I was raised in a community outside of Detroit. I was raised in Dundee. I graduated from Dundee High School.
Dundee. Where is Dundee?
Outside of Monroe, about 10 miles north of Monroe. There's a Cabela out there now. That's what most people remember about Dundee is Cabela. So that's where I grew up at. Then left out of there, went to Vietnam, spent a year in Vietnam, came back and went to school, got married, and joined the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. So for me, I spent a lot of time in Wayne County. I retired after 29 years with the Sheriff's Department, retired as a detective. And but just like so many others, prior to retirement, you're thinking in terms of what do you want to do next? Well, for me, because I'd done so much with the Sheriff's Department and being involved in the union, I was president of the union, I decided to get involved in the political arena, so I ran for county commissioner in Oakland County.
Yeah,
was county commissioner.
I voted for you.
Yeah, I know.
I voted for you. But I was going to ask you that. What made you decide to jump into the political game?
Well,
I mean, because there are a lot of games.
Oh, yeah, it is. I was, as I said, I was a sheriff's deputy for 29 years. During that time period, I was president of the union for 7 years and vice president for 10 years. I was there during the time when, if you can believe this, I was a part of the union, an active part of the Sheriff's Department and union when Coleman Young was mayor, when Kwame Kilpatrick first got elected, when Mike Duggan was, when Ed McNamara was the county executive, Bill Lucas was elected. And,
Bill Lucas.
Yeah, so I negotiated with the Lucas team, I negotiated with Ed McNamara's team, and then when Bob Ficano became county executive, we ended up working with his team also.
Wow, I saw Bob Ficano on television last night. Charlie LaDuff was hounding him.
Yeah,
but that's a whole different story. Now, when did you become state rep?
In 2008, I ran for state rep, and just for your viewers, one of the things that I'm most proud of, and at least being a minority, when I ran for state rep, the area I represented was Southfield, Lathrop Village, Royal Oak Township, and a portion of Oak Park. In the 2008 general election, I received more votes than any other state representative in the state of Michigan. 110 state representatives, I was number one.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah.
Bravo. Now, you've decided to run again for state rep, right?
Yes. Well, for state senator.
State senator. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
there is a difference.
Yeah. There's 110 state reps and 38 senators. So in 2010, the current state senator at that time was term limited out, so looked at the area and looked at it, and it looked like something that we could win. It was no longer what would be considered a minority seat. So, but we felt that if we got out and got a message out, we could win. So we now, I'm a state senator. I represent the communities, 14 communities from Farmington Hills, all the way to Hazel Park, Huntington, West Pleasant Ridge, Southfield, Lathrop Village, all of those. I represent about 270,000 people. So we are now running for re-election for the Senate. But what you were referring to is that early in the year, in late last year, we felt that there was a chance for us to run for the congressional seat in the 14th district
of Gary Peters.
Of Gary Peters, and with our background and with the experience that we had, we felt it would be a good fit. We'd be able to represent the people, but sometimes, you know, we as mortal people, we think we know what's best, when in turn you have to reevaluate and look at things, and you find out that maybe this is not the plan for you. Maybe this is what you want, but this is not what's really something that maybe God has planned for you. So we evaluated where we were at the end of March and felt that the state Senate is where we needed to be. We could help more people there.
What do you think are three major issues that are confronting state senators in the area? I'm not talking about only your part, but
right.
maybe here across the state.
Right.
What are the three major issues?
Well, clearly, the major issue, everything is being done is trying to build jobs in the state of Michigan. If you have a good job market, if you have a good place where people know if they come to, they can get jobs. For instance, our young people now in the state of Michigan are leaving out because there's no jobs here. We would like to keep the young people here. Also, education. We need to have a much better educated workforce if we want to bring in more businesses from other countries, from other places in the United States. They are looking for places to move to that have a good education background, where if you bring a plant in here or bring in the facilities, they say, where's the workforce we're going to get to be able to help us? So it's jobs, education, and then the infrastructure in the state of Michigan. You cannot travel anywhere in the state without running over a chuck hole, running over the hole in the road somewhere. And who wants to live in a state where you're constantly bouncing up and down every time you go, a mile or so?
It's funny that you say that. When I'd gone to visit my son outside of Columbus, Ohio, he drove me back home. And it was smooth sailing until we crossed the border into Michigan.
Into Michigan.
You know you're in Michigan by the roads.
Right.
And that is a crying shame.
It's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. You know, the bad part about it is it didn't used to be like that, but we've fallen on that. We've gotten to that point where now roads seems like they're an afterthought. We don't spend any money on it. Only thing we spend it on is just repairing it from year to year, and that's just a quick fix, nothing long term.
It's like Band-Aids on bullet wounds.
That's right.
It really, really is. And right now in the Senate, the Democrats are the minority in the Senate and in the
House.
In the House. Mm-hmm. Why do people vote against their own interests? People vote. I know people. Well, the Republicans seem to vote against everything that I'm against.
Yes.
But and I'm a retired teacher. Why? And I know a lot of teachers who have voted for them. They started attacking our pensions and everything like that.
Right.
Why do people vote against their own interest?
Yeah, that's a good question. And sometimes I wonder, people, even if they know truly all the things that have been voted for that really harmed them. For instance, as I said, we just went through this budget process. I'm on appropriations, so I vote on everything that is paid for by the state of Michigan. I have a vote on it. And I also sit on subcommittees, community health, human services, any and everything to do in the state of Michigan with health care, hospitals, nursing homes, all of those. I sit on the committee for that. So I have influence and a say-so, a vote when it comes to that. Yet we have this program in Michigan called Healthy Kids Dental, which affects all kids that are 5 years old to 17 years old. The state of Michigan pays for that. We pay for that as taxpayers.
Okay.
There's not enough money to cover all of the state. There wasn't enough money at the very beginning to cover all of the state. And so they started covering it county by county. Now 80 counties are covered with this Healthy Kids Dental. And guess which 3 counties are not covered? Wayne County, Oakland County, and we're always the last, and yet we are probably at least a half or 3/4 of the state of where the kids need the help at.
Yes.
And yet
how did that happen?
Well, this is Republicans, basically, obviously they took care of their people first, and they keep telling us, well, it's too big. And, my answer to them was, well, why don't we do it by zip codes? And you don't have to do it by a county, do it by zip code to make sure that the kids that need it the most will get that kind of help. Well, we can't do it like that. Just can't do it. And as long as they've got the votes, and every single year for the last 3 years I've been in the Senate, I've introduced this. Let's cover all of them. Now we're at the point where, and let me just say, and I'll end it with this, that's part of it. We need $23 million to cover Wayne County, Oakland County, and Kent County. That's the other county. $23 million. Last year, in the budget surplus of the state of Michigan, we had $508 million. $508 million. So my question to the Appropriation Committee, can't we take out $23 million and cover these 3 counties out of that $508 million? And their answer was no. We'll look at it again next year.
What do you think it is? I know what I'm thinking it is in my head, but what do you think it is?
I think it has something. It may have something to do with it, but clearly, as long as you have the power and authority, you can do what you want to do. In which I would say to those people, is just as you talked about when it comes to voting and people getting out and expressing their interest. This is a critical election year, especially for the Senate, for the Michigan Senate, the Michigan House, because everybody's watching to see, will you agree that the way things are going are fine with you and you'll continue to put the Republicans in? If you think everything is okay and it's great, they'll continue to vote for them.
Don't you think that the Democrats have to be louder and more outspoken about what they want? That's something I said to Bert Johnson. I said, you're not, the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
That's very true.
It seems like the Republicans are dead on they're on their message all the time. But you all don't get enough press. What's going on?
Right. And you know what? And you're exactly right, though. Sometimes you have to make your own press. Sometimes you have to do things that will get your name out there to make sure people know what you're doing. And it's programs like yours where we have an opportunity to be able to talk about what's going on in the Senate so people will know. Because, the media themselves will not follow a lot of the stories. We can write editorials and send things out, and sometimes a lot of them doesn't get published. So people really don't know. I mean, the Healthy Kids Dental, you probably never even heard about that this was going on all this time. And yet this has been a big issue year after year after year. But it's how do you get the message out? And that's part of messaging is what the Democrats have to do a much better job of. Let people know what we can do for you.
Well, okay, we know that.
Right.
How can you do that? You only have a matter of months.
Right. Well, you know what, we have a matter of months for the primary. The general is, we have the time to be able to get the message out if, in fact, we do a good job of it. We have a lot of candidates that will be running for office. In the literature that they're sending out, they have to make sure they have a message that people will listen to, that people will understand, that people will get it, that, well, this is somebody that can help me. And that's part of the messaging that has to be done when you send out literature to people so that they say, well, why should I vote for you? This is why you should vote for me.
Well, as far as Detroit is concerned, with the state of Michigan and what's going on in Detroit, and how I forgot the name of I think it was the state senator who said, well, if we're going to help, then the unions have to help.
Oh, yeah.
What is going on there? It's like pulling teeth.
Right. Well, this was the Speaker of the House, Chase Bolger.
Chase Bolger, yes.
And my personal opinion of that is that that's just another way to throw a wrench into the program. If you don't really want to help Detroit out and don't really help put the money in there, you throw these obstacles in the way. And I thought that was no more than what he was.
It was very obvious that he was doing that.
Right.
It was very, very obvious. What do you think the prognosis are? What do you think they're going to do?
Well, I was told as of yesterday, that they did, that he has taken that out, and there was some language and some bills that were approved yesterday to move forward to be able to fund Detroit, and that particular language was taken out of it. So evidently, maybe he got the message and enough backlash, and he finally said, you know what, we need to do something to help the city, and this is not going to help do what he was proposing. So now they're doing something that will help it.
Well, I hope so, because to me, if Detroit fails, that's them voting against their own
Yes.
concerns and
Right.
stuff like that. But I hate what's happening.
Right.
I hate what's happening with the city, with the state. A lot of people feel that Snyder and the Republicans, they just run everything and they're running roughshod over everybody. So some people are just saying, what the heck?
Right.
But we have to get them out to vote.
Yes, we
have
do.
to know, they have to know that their vote counts. But with a couple of years ago and the things that happened when people voted against the emergency manager and everything, and I mean, it just seemed like that meant nothing.
Well, in fact, that's really about what it really did mean. After the people voted and said they didn't want it, and then the legislature changed the language to say that we are going to have an emergency manager. So, in fact, it was a slap in the face to the people, and a lot of people said, well, my vote doesn't count, and no matter what I do, it doesn't make a difference anyway. And, but you can't give up on that, though. But it goes back to leadership. You need some leaders to stand up and say, you know what, we're not going to take this anymore.
Right.
We need to do more than this. We need to do better than this. And as a state senator, that's one of my goals, is to make sure people understand the things that they have, authority and they have the ability to do just by coming out and supporting those candidates. They do have the ability to make a change, to make a significant change.
How many Republicans and how many Democrats are in the state Senate?
Well, unfortunately, there's 26 Republicans and 12 Democrats, and I say that because you need at least 13 Democrats at least to hold them from having immediate effect on the bills that they approve. So we're even one short of that. So we are in such a minority. But you know what? We are in a minority, but you still can't use that as a total excuse for not getting things done.
Absolutely not.
Right. You have to figure out, if you know these are your numbers and you know this is the way it is, then you have to figure out, how can I get things done even regardless of this? And that's what I've tried to do. Recently, we just had some money that was sent to Hutzel Hospital for the kids, for the babies there. My mind is going blank now. It's for the babies that premature, the premature babies, and we were able to get the Republicans to join in with me to send $20 million to Hutzel Hospital.
Really?
To help them, with the prenatal, yeah.
Yeah, we got to be loud. We
Yes.
got to be out there,
Yes.
and everything. It seems like the Democrats would want have a
Yes.
plan to do this.
To be able to move forward and to get the message out and let people know what you can do. And one other thing I will say, one of the other committees that I'm on is the State Police, Veterans Affairs. So with regards to State Police, we've been hearing recently about some incidents on Belle Isle and
okay.
The residents being pulled over in those incidents. Well, I'm on that committee, and I'm the only Democrat on that committee, but I'm paying very much attention to what's going on. And if there are issues, certainly in my office, if we hear about it, since we're on the committee, we will certainly question the state police about it, bring those issues up and find out what exactly is going on. Now, we've already had some questions, and we've been assured over and over again that the state police are very sensitive to this taking over Belle Isle and making sure that they're not over aggressive in what they're doing there. So, but that's what they're telling me, and of course,
Because some people don't want to go back out there and everything, but I'm
Yes.
determined to go out there.
That's right.
I'm going to hang out there like wet clothes, because I don't want them to. Don't let people frighten you away.
That's right. That's right.
How could people reach your office?
Our office number is 517, area code 517-373-7888.
Because of incidences, and this was something we discussed on Table Talk last week, was the fact that people were getting stopped, and some people thought unjustly.
Yes.
But weren't some people getting stopped for speeding?
Yeah, some
Initially?
people, 10 miles and over, something like that, 10 miles an hour. Now, there are two, I guess, law enforcement groups there. I guess is the group, DNR. They also stop. I can speak for the state police, and I can say that for sure that I have direct involvement with the state police, and yeah, and a pretty good rapport with the administration of state police. And so, if there are any questions, any issues, I certainly can get to the bottom of and get the answers for them. I can definitely do that. The DNR, I'm not really involved with them, but of course, because of being a senator, we can always find out. But I have a much better rapport with the state police.
What do you say to people in Oakland County and Wayne County right now? What are some of the issues you'd like to continue to fight for?
Well, when we talk about jobs, that's such a general statement. But because of the committees that I'm on, the Community Health and Human Services, we know that the Affordable Care Act is going to create jobs. I was a part of the committee that got through the Medicaid expansion, and we know that there will be 400,000 people ultimately that will be using this Medicaid expansion. That number of people
in Michigan,
that many people using the Medicaid expansion, and a lot of these people are the folks that make minimum wage that don't have health care. So it's the working poor that don't have health care right now. They would be eligible for this Medicaid expansion. And because there's so many people going into that will be using, going to the medical field, being able to get help out of the medical field, it has to create jobs. That has to be a place where jobs now will become much more plentiful. So for me, and what we're trying to do is make sure when these jobs do become available, we can get that message out that there are places for folks to go with jobs.
And it will create jobs.
Right. It will create this ACA. Well, without a doubt, one of the byproducts will be to create jobs. No question about it.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, there's no question about it.
Great to hear.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, one of the major problems they had, and what the Medicaid expansion would do, is a lot of folks that working poor and a lot of other people didn't have insurance. They would go to the emergency room when they got too sick to just continue on, and they would almost use it as if it was a doctor's office because they didn't have any other health insurance. So now with money going there, it helps the hospital, so they'll be able to hire more staff and they'll be able to bring more people in. That's the job market, and also the restaurants and the places where these people are working at, they will now have employees that will be much better, much more fit and
productive.
Right. Not missing time and that kind of stuff. So,
well, Vince, we wish you the best on this campaign. The campaign has started.
Yes, it has. Yeah, we're very,
now,
very active.
Is there a primary?
Yes, there is. Yeah, I have two opponents in a primary. I am the only candidate. My base district is Southfield, Lathrop Village, Royal Oak Township, Oak Park, and that's my biggest base, and that's where we have always done very well, and we expect to do well now. Obviously, we need all the support we can get. Let me just tell you this, and when I ran for state senate, and I told you it's not a minority area, and,
I know,
and yet when I got elected in the November election again, we ended up with more votes than any other Democratic senator elected in the state of Michigan. We've always done.
I'm hoping we could get some more Democrats elected. Are there any seats in play in the state senate?
Oh yeah. There's we have out of the 38 senators, there's 8 senators that are term limited out. So out of those, at least 4 of those seats are seats that Democrats can win. That there will be no incumbent in the seats. We have a seat in Oakland County that may be in play, and that's the seat the senator represents Royal Oak and the communities that are a little the northern part of where I'm at right now.
Hazel Park and.
Well, no, I represent Hazel Park.
Oh yeah.
It would be Birmingham, Bloomfield Hills, and those areas. So there will be no incumbent in there, and we have a chance in there.
Well, I wish you the best, and will you come back and keep us updated?
I certainly will. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Vince Gregory, everyone, and we'll be back in just a few moments.